Alleged arson under investigation, Barnstable police to Boston, and good news for the Hyannis water supply. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, April 23rd, 2013. I'm Sarah Colvin. 4 Hyannis homes are damaged following a series of early morning blazes on Saturday. Police believe the fires were intentionally set. Deputy Chief of Police Craig Tamish has details.
At about 4:22, we received a 911 call regarding heavy smoke in the area. And apparently there was an event going on at the Cape Cod Mall that they were selling some sort of a new sneaker. So there were a number of people that were in the area who noticed the smoke. They gave us a call. We and the fire department responded and found the house on Pilgrim Lane that was heavily involved in fire. And obviously they focused their attention first on that house. Then as additional fire trucks pulled up and the firemen started walking up to the fire and bringing their equipment up, they noticed that the house 2 doors down had smoke coming out of it. And at that point, they started fighting that fire. The police and fire departments then started checking other houses in the area. And as you know, there were a total of 4 houses that had been broken into and the fire set. I mean, the odds of it being accidental in 4 houses at the same time are pretty astronomical.
Tamish says Barnstable police are working in tandem with other agencies to solve the crime.
Our investigators are working on this along with the State Fire Marshal's Office, along with the Hyannis Fire Department. And as you know, there has been a reward offered through the state, and we would certainly encourage anyone with any information to call the Fire Marshal's Office at 1-800-682-9229 or the Barnstable Police Department tip line at 774-826-8614.
A $5,000 reward is being offered for information about the person or persons behind the crime. The investigation continues into the terrifying Boston Marathon bombing that happened more than a week ago in busy downtown Boston. Barnstable Deputy Chief Craig Tamish says teams from our town headed up to help.
Obviously, we, along with everyone, was absolutely shocked by the events on Monday afternoon. In fact, I was up at doing college tours up at Keene State in New Hampshire, and the tour basically ground to a stop when we went into the college rec center, and they had the big TVs in there, and everybody was just fascinated, if that's the word you want to use, or horrified by what was going on, and the tour pretty much essentially stopped at that point. After that, we, as a result of a mutual aid pack that is now statewide for exactly these types of situations, we were requested, along with many other SWAT teams, motorcycle units, to send units to Boston. So for the first couple of days, the Cape Cod Regional Law Enforcement Council SWAT team went up there to help provide security along with the armored vehicle that the SWAT team now has. And they were providing security at some of the hotels, some of the hospitals, and wherever they were needed.
Tamish says he's spoken with some of the officers who are now back from Boston. They were glad to have been able to help.
A really heartwarming experience at the end, obviously. I mean, the beginnings were heart-wrenching. But to be able to be part of this, the SWAT team was in Watertown. They were doing, I'm sure you saw some of the photos, they were actively involved in doing house-to-house searches for the suspect that had fled the scene, and they were very, very impressed by the coordination and by the level of professionalism of all the agencies. I mean, there was pretty much an alphabet soup, if you will, of agencies there. I mean, from virtually, the entire New England region. Sergeant Damery, who was the SWAT team commander, was telling me that they had SWAT teams there from Nashua, New Hampshire, from the New Hampshire State Police, from Rhode Island, from Connecticut. So, I mean, to keep everybody on task and focused and without duplication of effort. It was a tremendous job, and I think they did it extremely well.
The Community Preservation Committee hears plans from the Hyannis Water Supply Division. Hans Kaiser addressed the board on Monday night.
I'm in charge of the Hyannis water system, and we put in a letter of intent for $50,000 to help us initiate acquisition of property in the Zone 1 areas of our wells. We have a total of 12 wells for the Hyannis water system. According to DEP regs, we need to own or control the Zone 1s of these 12 wells, about a 400-foot circle around these wells. And in 11 of the 12 wells, we do not own or control all of it. It's our task to fix that issue and to provide good water quality and water protection. And we're looking for support on that one.
Questions? Tom?
I don't have a question for Hans, and I think you all know that my background is in the drinking water industry. So, I fully support these applications to move forward, because drinking water is very important for the town of Barnstable, especially when you don't even own all of Zone 1s, period. I mean, even though there is a regulation in there, but you're trying to preserve as much land as possible to protect your water resources, and that's critical. And, Hyannis Water is not from a town itself, it's a private water company before. And so gradually going into the town's drinking water divisions. So it's important trying to take control of this Zone 1 area and to protect the water source.
A letter of support from the Greater Hyannis Civic Association was read by Laura Cronin.
The Hyannis Water Board's request for the $50,000 to fund their strategy to protect Zone 1 areas around municipal wells in the Hyannis Water District. This is addressed to Mr. Council and committee members. The Town of Barnstable's Land Acquisition and Preservation Committee, LAPC, supports the request for the Hyannis Water Board for funding towards its strategy to gain control of the Zone 1 area around municipal wells in the Hyannis Water District, as obligated to do so by the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. This request of the Hyannis Water Board serves as one of the core interests of the Community Preservation Act, which is acquisition, creation, and preservation of open space, and also meets the highest of our criteria for open space acquisition, and that's the protection of the municipal water supplies. At our monthly meeting on April 8, 2013, our committee heard from Deb Crow, Chair of the Hyannis Water Board, via an email of their strategy to have available funding for appraisals, right of refusals, and down payments on Zone 1 land, which the Hyannis Water Board doesn't currently own. After discussion and with a quorum present, there were two motions. Motions made by James Hinkle and seconded by Tom Mullen to endorse the plan of the Hyannis Water Board, and the motion was amended by Phyllis Miller and seconded by James Hinkle to endorse the request for funding from the CPC as it's consistent with our committee's mission. And we thank
The CPC met Monday. They also held their annual meeting at that time. You can watch the full proceedings online at town.barnstable.ma.us. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.